Punk Revolution now. Ooh. Today we're going to be reviewing Autechre. Autechre again. Yes, that's correct, because Autechre released an album like 2 weeks ago called Sign, which I enjoyed a lot because I love Autechre. I love everything Autechre does. They're fucking amazing. And then 2 weeks later, after releasing this hour-long album, Sign, they released another hour-long album, Plus, which we're reviewing here today. So Plus Sign, kind of a mindfuck. I don't think I've ever seen an artist release another album 2 weeks after releasing one album, and then it's a surprise album at the same time. Kind of a weird thing. I'm excited for it. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Is this just going to be a collection of like B-side songs that weren't good enough for the first one? Or is this going to be equally as good as the first one they released? I don't know. Next time we're taking a look at the album cover. This album cover is basically the same as the album cover of their album Sign that they released 2 weeks ago. So, you know, they're really kind of just emphasizing that these two albums go along like a pair. Kind of makes me a little nervous because, like, it does, again, kind of put that idea in my head that, like, oh no, maybe these are just, like, B-side songs that weren't good enough for Sign or something. I don't know. Whatever. I don't really have too much to say about these album covers. They're pretty simple. I'm just happy that this one, the color scheme, at least it doesn't look like the AMD Ryzen computer processor like the Sign album cover does, so that's a plus for plus. So let's go ahead and start talking about the music. The first thing I noticed about Plus was that it opens up with a fart sound, which is exactly what Sign did. So it's kind of like these two albums sort of fall into the same universe. Like, you can definitely hear there's a reason that they both have the same album cover and were released pretty much at the same time. They fall into the same universe. It feels very cyberpunk, futuristic, slightly like dark and anxious. But there are definitely some big differences that are worth calling out between these two albums too. They're actually very different in my opinion, even though they both feel somewhat cohesive. Sign was primarily a ambient album. It was a very intellectual, very cool, well-executed, unique ambient album that was very distinctly Autechre, but it ultimately was mostly an ambient album, very synth-driven, not too much percussion. And I actually remember saying when I reviewed Sign that, you know, as much as I liked that album, I just wish there was more percussion, because I feel like Autechre, they are like masters at percussion. Like the percussive side, the like punchy kick drums clicking and clacking you, punching you all around, you don't know, the rhythms are gonna fuck you up. I feel like that's where Autechre excels, and there was definitely some of that in Sign, but I wanted more. Well, Autechre must have watched my review, because they have answered my prayers. 12 days later, they threw an album together for me because it is packed with that shit I fucking love from Autechre, just pushing the experimentation to the max with percussion that's gonna fuck your ass. And not only is it more percussive than Sign, I'm also feeling like this is actually a lot more experimental. All these songs feel like they're just trying to just do some weird shit, percussive weird shit to push the boundaries, kind of similar to their albums Cornfield and Draft 730, which are some of my favorite Autechre albums, so I'm very excited about that. The experimental ambition is very clear here. They got 3 tracks on this album that are over 10 minutes long, and all 3 of those beasts are fucking excellent. Like, damn, they're fucking good. We got Equal 4, which is fucking amazing. Very just kind of like this beat driving this song that you can kind of bounce along to, but it's kind of really hard to follow along the beat as it kind of disappears and makes you just like dizzy and fucks you up and almost feels like a fucking like suction cup fucking your face. And then we got the freaking song X4, which is like one of Autechre's best songs ever. Super glitchy, super intricate, a little bit more faster paced than the other songs on the album. Very like. Then we have the closing track TM1 Open, which is like kind of like a gentle but pretty fast paced beat that kind of just drives the whole song, and then as the song kind of moves on for its 11-minute length, it sort of disintegrates and feels a little bit more sparse, and it kind of turns into like a more of like an ambient track. It's a very cool way to close an album. I mean, this is great. Even the songs that aren't over 10 minutes long, the shorter tracks are also really fucking well executed. Like the opening track is fucking amazing. My only complaint here is the second to last song and third to last song. I don't remember them off the top of my head because they have really weird names. Those songs are, they're more dissonant ambience in the same way that some of the tracks off Sign were, and I didn't really love that. Like, okay, you know, I don't really feel like I need any more of those songs. I already felt like I got enough of that in Sign. Does kind of feel like leftover tracks from Sign. Those two songs are also very similar. I don't like having those two songs one after another. So that's my only complaint. But I mean, honestly, surprisingly, this album Plus though is, in my opinion, way better than Sign. Like, I'm like really excited about this. Cannot believe it just came out of fucking nowhere in the way it did. I'm giving this an 8.6 out of 10. If you like Autechre, check this freaking shit out. This album is obviously not for everyone. You got to be really into IDM and the more experimental side of Autechre, but if you are, you don't want to miss this one. It's really fucking sick. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everyone commenting, and subscribing on my channel. It really means a lot to me. My channel is growing a lot faster than I ever expected. It means so much. So thank you so much for everyone doing that. And that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for watching Punk Revolution now.